Hi, and welcome to 15. I'm Luke, and I'm joined by Dan.
Hello.
You know it's a visual now, they can see you rolling your eyes.
Yes.
What's the matter? You upset or are you set?
No, I just feel we should have just included that little bit there. That was cute. It's funny.
Vomit saying the word cute.
What are we doing here, Luke? Tell all, please.
What was cute? The bit that I was drinking the bottle like a lamb's udder?
Yeah.
A lamb's
And then
udder?
the whole...
There's some very small lambs. Is this something at the teeth of another lamb? There's the voice.
You said you weren't going to do it.
Welcome to the podcast.
Dead air.
Welcome to the
What's the podcast about, Luke?
Where we review the first 15 minutes of films to make that Netflix film choice a little bit easier. Probably should have wrote something down, shouldn't I? Dan, how have you been?
Yeah, really loving our Netflix films this week.
Believe it or not, Dan has got a girlfriend. Can't believe it. Absolutely can't believe what the words are coming out of my mouth.
I know.
She met you through this as well. She's called Martha.
Oh, I just banged it. Sorry. Martha. That's good.
It's nice that they're awake. If you knock the table, these mics are quite good. They don't pick it up bit. But if you actually say, "Oh, knocked it," it will actually pick that bit up. So maybe don't do that next time.
Okay.
Also, a quick mention: I do look particularly her suit today and quite unkempt. My razor broke, and I decided to super glue it.
Have you been hanging out with Woody Allen?
What?
Her suit.
What went into the... That's not a particularly highfalutin word, is it?
Yes.
Hairy, okay, unkempt, grizzly.
A suit. My God.
Well, that was a really general word. I actually did.
Can you hear all those audience members turning off?
I'll stop doing. Right. I tried to super glue my racer back together. Derek Akora. I'm getting a Mary.
My God.
Right.
They know what it's about. They're here. Right. Let's go.
Are you not going to give the listeners one little peek behind the curtain at your girlfriend, please? By the next episode, she might not be here, so we might have to use it now.
She's fantastic. How about that?
What?
Yeah.
I think you're going to say something about Fandango then. Oh, don't give too much away about her.
Did you?
Okay, Dan, last week we decided to watch Guns Akimbo.
We did. Guns Akimbo.
I thought that Guns Akimbo was painfully unfunny.
Oh, I thought you liked it.
Cheap and not edgy or cool and just extremely frustrating, really. What about you, Dan? Got any initial thoughts?
I thought...
Now, I've put my phone up against the laptop. So although my eyes are looking there, it's slightly more discreet than having... Okay. You're like a 2021 rapper. Have you seen these guys that do it with their phones in front of them? They're going like fire in the booth. I don't think it exists anymore because Charlie Sloth's gone.
I don't know what that is.
Where the rappers do the freestyling.
Okay.
But you're big in your grime.
I thought it was a silly idea and somewhat dull from the start, but I felt that the ramp up in tempo, because it did go up a lot after that. When we watched it, I was like, my God, this is slow. And then she just starts hunting him and it was like, okay, well, we're moving. Well, at that point, it managed to hold my attention.
Well, something I'd say on that is it did remind me of that. It's coming to fashion, that sort of kinetic filmmaking, like the Safdie brothers have done. Like, you remember Uncut Gems?
Yeah.
Yeah, they did that and they did Good Time stuff. Oh, I thought you'd seen Uncut Gems.
No. I got vibes of Edgar Wright merged with Tarantino.
Yeah. Me too. It was exquisite, is what that's saying.
No, a poor man.
How do you mean? Like sort of arcade?
In just a quick shot, the sort of zany offbeatness of Edgar Wright, coupled with this quite sort of gratuitous violence of Tarantino, and making that part of the film, quite a deliberate part. Like I've just been watching the last couple of films of his I watched with Kill Bill, and it's very much in keeping with that. It felt like he'd been watching that. What's his name? Jason Lee Howden, the director.
Yeah, writer, director. I didn't have a Wikipedia page, so it's come from absolutely nowhere for this. But I tell you what, I though I didn't like it, I appreciate that it stuck to its convictions. Do you know what I mean? It was happily placed itself in the margins.
I thought,
it just stayed absolutely mental.
It was batty,
and because of that, it'll find an audience for that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I felt though
an audience that I don't want to socialize with whatsoever, but it will find an audience nevertheless.
Yeah. There's definitely a certain type of person, and I don't actually think Daniel Radcliffe is that type of person. I think the people that you know the people who are watching the stream, you got all these sort of weird and wonderful characters who just
they're the people that are watching the film.
Yeah, they're the people. That's who they are, not Daniel Radcliffe. I actually thought Daniel Radcliffe was quite good. You used it in the thingy last week. He said anemic, and that's definitely the word for him. But I thought he got the humor. There were some points where I found he was quite funny.
I think he's a good performer. I like Daniel Radcliffe. I mean, this is just not the film to use as a parameter to say, is he a good actor or not? Like,
but I think
he can do a good American
for the role.
Accent, I already knew that.
Yeah, no, I think he actually retained the integrity of that role in as much as you could. But I do think the film overall was quite clunky, and it didn't have any real depth to it.
I think that was what I was going to pick up on. There was definitely what was the motive for the baddies? Like, not like an anti-establishment thing, not like sort of a wealth through viewership, like something that makes. I know we mention Dark Knight all the time, but it's just a film that we sort of it's in our Venn diagram. I
think it's fantastic.
The Joker has a motive going through that, and even if it's just the maniac, that's sort of his motive. The whole some people just want to watch the world.
But there's sort of you mean some men just want to watch the world burn?
Also, it's
the kid was playing with a ruby as big as an ostrich egg. The bastard had been throwing the things away.
You know,
see, Master Bruce, some of us just want to watch the world burn. Us? Sorry, I mean.
Does he actually say that? No, it says some men, doesn't it? Just says
some men just want to watch the world burn, not us.
When you start to dislike a film, you do notice gigantic plot holes, don't you? And this offered some of them up.
I just think I would have preferred more moments of light and shade. It was all quite one note.
That's good.
Thanks.
It's good though.
Yeah, the bit where can we give spoilers in this one?
Yeah.
You know where the dad gets shot.
Oh yeah, that was good.
It was good, and then they just made a joke out of it, and I thought, okay, but that was whilst that's quite an obvious plot point, and with a story we've seen quite numerous times, that's the very obvious point to make it a little bit darker, a little bit more, soul-reaching and poignant. And they didn't. So we're just back to another joke. Do you know what I mean? If you're going to be, it wasn't original. So if you're not going to be original, you at least have to try and capture me some way, rather than just being like full on, which captures your attention, but doesn't necessarily do enough to make it a good film. It's just a bloodfest film, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly. That sort of links into what I was going to say. It's just very much a sort of hits bong, galaxy brain sort of aesthetics over style of substance, basically.
Yeah. I mean, I give it a 6.5, but I think actually
that's quite generous.
Thinking back, I'd probably drop it down to a 6. Because it wasn't. I don't think it was a 5. I don't think it was neutral. I think it had better quality. Well, it kept my attention, so that's surely something. But
yeah, and I was kind of laughing, probably at the wrong parts. There was some little bits that were quite funny. Actually, although it was just filled with like DVD actors, you know what I mean? And there was a huge point where I was just saying, where the hell are the police during the entire time? Like, where are the police? Like, I don't.
Yeah, when he shot that guy, he shot that police officer. Where was his mate?
Oh, there was one weird bit though when it slowed down. About 50 minutes from the end, it slowed down, and the chemistry finally came through between the leads. That was actually, I had to literally turn for a second because I watched it with Claudia, and I went, "Oh my god, this actually got good," and then it turned instantly bad again. Exactly.
The gimp mask guy. What did you think about that?
Oh, I can't remember. Who's the gimp mask guy?
Guy with the horse gimp mask.
Oh, right. I reckon he just showed up to set. Do you know what I mean? They just wrote him into the script. I don't think there was a script.
I think it moved. Really. It was almost video game, wasn't it? Actually, more than comic book.
Yeah, I think that was by design, though, wasn't it?
Yeah. No, I don't know if I used comic book, but probably.
Yeah, I know what you mean, like graphic
would
novel.
re-edit myself.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I don't even know graphic novel though. I think
no, but you said it's more than that, as in it's more.
Yeah.
Instead of game console is vibes. I got that. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those films where I'm not going to watch it again, but I've watched.
I think the title was better than the film.
Was that because that's the name was given to that? What happened in the end as well? Didn't he then start to fight crime?
Yeah. What a shit ending. Because there was a great bit. There was a good line where he goes, where they have like that kind of fever dream of them two getting together and snogging, and then he goes, "No, that didn't happen. That's called paranormal shock or something." He says, "When your ex-girlfriend sees you bludgeon a man to death with guns, she doesn't get with you. She gets PTSD." I quite liked that kind of idea.
Yeah, it was it was shooting for those jokes all the time. There were a lot of them missed. There was way more misses.
But he should have died. He shouldn't have then.
Oh, but how many films have we said that about? If Soul, if he had just ended and it's fallen, that would be one of the best films of the decade, because it's a small decade. But seriously, what an incredible ending that would have been.
Oh, well, for kids and everything.
What?
Always no. I think it's more important for kids to think about death and engage with that than go, "Oh, when you die, you just reincarnate as a cat."
Where are these kids from? These kids need special attention.
This is my audition for cats.
Probably would have got in to the latest film, Satire. I haven't even seen it. Jumping on the bandwagon. Okay. You've seen
it, shall we talk about this week's film?
You've seen it,
yes.
It's a musical, of course you've seen it.
Horrendous.
All over it.
Absolutely horrendous.
Right.
Worst thing I've ever seen.
So first
Till tonight.
First film up is Sam Mendes' 1917.
How would you write that? Would you do Sam Mendes apostrophe S, or would you just do Sam Mendes apostrophe?
Just apostrophe, yeah.
Correct.
Thank you. I was about to say only one of us did English at university, but you know what happened to my English degree at university.
Wouldn't die on that hill.
Has to leave. Strongly advised.
It was the moment where you got. It was the moment you got 39% or whatever you do, and your indignation that they wouldn't let you come back, despite doing fuck all.
In the grand scheme of things, it turned out well. Okay,
you were like Charlie. You know where he's that. You know that meme of Charlie from. No, from Always Sunny in Philadelphia, where he's crazy, he's pointing at the maps. This is where she is.
Oh, right.
That meme.
Pepe Sylvia.
You're like that guy. You're like that when you were doing your highlighting. I only need to learn this sentence here. Here.
Right. 1917. It won Best Cinematography. It was up for Picture.
124 years ago.
Director.
No, 104 years ago.
5.
Did you realize it was 2022?
Oh, no, 4. Sorry. Do you know how it's even doubly worse what I did then? I thought you meant 1914, and I still thought that was 5 years ago. It's not even 5 years ago. 105. Oh, whatever. Right. Dan, what did you make of this film?
Well, I think it's better if you talk about it first, because I've already seen this film. So this was a second-time viewing for me.
We are going to have to start doing that more on the podcast now, because we just can't make ourselves watch Guns Akimbo every week. One of us is going to have to have seen a film sometimes. So it started.
Is that what this podcast is turning into? Guns Akimbo and?
It's a new name, working title. We need to get interviews. Anyway, it felt weighty and cinematic. I felt like I was actually in a cinema to start with, which was nice. And then, because it's a fluid shot journey sort of film, which I think how Sam Mendes described it in all the press, is you have to get the exposition out straight away. Otherwise, you're following them for so long, and they're just doing that whole, Do you reckon it's good podcast? Do you think it's good podcast etiquette to have the window wide open in the middle of the countryside?
And your dog screaming his head off.
Screaming. Imagine if he did scream. Bar.
My dog! The dog is incredibly bright. weighty exposition. You've got to get it out
because
otherwise you spend the whole time doing
have
exposition
you noticed
dialogue.
Since Pulp Fiction, and the start of Pulp Fiction, which is obviously them talking about Royale with cheese and stuff, burgers. Loads of films have tried to start films that way. Do you know what I mean? Loads of films have had to start films that way. Do you know what I mean? That was Pulitzer Prize winning film analysis there.
You really started at the top. It was weighty. I felt like I was in the cinema. I really dived off.
So I forgive the exposition for being a bit clunky, but I tell you, it was nice to have a bit of a who's who of British actors. You'd like that.
Yeah, I did. It's a very much an acting-y film, I think. You know, it's a film for actors. We said that about Dunkirk, did I?
Yes, we did.
See, the people have never seen this. Yeah.
Well, we should mention this is for people that actually listen, because I mean, there's actually an okay amount of people that actually listen to this, incredibly, but there will not be anyone that watches it. So why are we alienating the people that listen? Get busy listening or get busy watching. What? Is that the quote? When Andy Dufresne came to Shawshank, I remember thinking, that's a tall drink of water. What's going on with your camera?
It keeps focusing on me, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. It's awful. I bought these cameras, by the way, for Dan.
Okay, how's your microphone?
Yeah, fair enough. Touche. I put bored. I put bored down. I think about 9 minutes I was bored. It felt a bit repetitive. And I think because it's such, I mean, in this country anyway, it's such a topic that has been...
Brexit means Brexit.
Such a topic that's been widely covered that I sort of understand how hard it is. I understand how difficult it is, how long the trenches were. Do you know what I mean? I understand how dirty everything is.
How long were they?
Oh, it's a piece of string, then, you know. It's just sometimes the questions you got to answer.
Yeah, I agree with you there that there was quite obvious politics. Sort of the idea of general donkeys leading the army, you know, the whole generals being stupid and not listening to their men. There was all of that. You got that very quickly in those 15 minutes.
Donkeys leading the army.
Yeah, have you not heard that? The generals are donkeys, and there was lots of
phrase? That's not. There's a lot of poetry during the wars. I'm sure it was something a bit nicer than
this is in like the kind of pulp cartoons and satirists at the time that they were using the idea that the army was being led by donkeys. That Haig is just that's why Trent, especially World War One, because it was just so send the men over the top. Didn't work. Do it again.
Speaking of degrees, Dan did a history one. If you've not counted that from that.
But I agree with you that the two leads actually start out very annoying. Oh, yeah. Especially Blake, the fat one.
Especially Fatty.
My only comment.
Get my brother.
My only
Jeez,
comment. My only comment to that is it deliberate? And I put a question mark there. I think that may.
Oh, somebody's seen the film before. What does that mean? He picked up when Andrew Scott came on screen.
Yeah, and it does build. It does build.
Very good, isn't he?
And that, I think, what's most impressive when you've seen the whole film is that single shot, fluid, camera style, to use your words, does become very impressive the longer you go on.
And to be fair, this is a 2-hour film. We've seen an eighth of a film that's very much one shot. It's actually quite hard to critique. We didn't do it very well.
Some of us. But I did think the production and sense of place is exemplary. I do think you get that. Okay, yeah, you might read into it and go, "Oh, that's boring. I've seen that before," but I think it's accurate. So.
Would you watch this film? You already have. This is the thing. It's an Oscar film, and I should have got around to it by now but I'm so fed up of war films. Like, God, it's dreaded, isn't it?
Yeah, but I think this is a good war film. I would urge you to power through with it.
What's a war film that it's comparatively good as? Makes sense.
Point Break.
Sorry, just got an important text to break the podcast off about someone needing a hot water bottle. Do you reckon
you'll have to get that?
And we're back. You couldn't see the edit point there.
What did you ask me? Comparable. Have you seen Dunkirk?
Yes. Got bored.
It's better than Dunkirk.
Got bored with Dunkirk.
Yeah, but this is a lot better than Dunkirk.
It just always feels a bit. Maybe I'm just I sort of reject this stuff anyway, but it just all feels a little bit Rule Britannia. Do you know what I mean? It's just like,
yeah. And I think
God.
I think your point about it over here, it being rammed down your throat from a young age, is certainly true. We did it at GCSE. We did it at year 9. It's just constant. And yeah, the kind of patriotic jingoism of British people towards the war, which is totally irrelevant, is incredibly annoying. But I think the war in this film is good. Not good, but enjoyable. It's an enjoyable war film.
So moving on to the next film,
one.
We have got the most Woody Allen title film ever, A Rainy Day in New York.
Yeah.
Woody Allen. Where do you stand on Woody Allen? Because, I mean, cancel culture.
His throat?
Cancel culture has meant that his latest film, nobody would touch it. Like he touched his daughter.
Suni Previn and all them. That's his wife, isn't it?
His adopted daughter. Yeah, he's like 40 years younger than her or something.
I put very wordy as my first note, and then you came in with "fuck me, it's pretentious."
Yeah, it is. But he's sort of like he's like upper state Tarantino. Do you know what I mean? Like upper state New York. In terms of his dialogue, it's just now
you could.
It sounds dated as hell because it's Woody Allen. But oh my god, coming through,
you could see him sat there on his typewriter, couldn't you? You could see him sat there typing out that speech of him. I went to Yardley. I already got caught out in my class and all that. Just whatever.
Yeah, it is. It's very eye rolly.
But I was enjoying it. You were very much.
Timothée Chalamet. Well, let's deal with Timothée Chalamet's character to begin with.
Okay.
I feel there's two different parts of this. So whenever he's on screen, apart from the last scene, which we probably will get to, he's incredibly annoying. He's so punchable. It's crazy. Only towards the end of 15 minutes, when he also meets someone very annoying, I actually start to think,
probably worse than him.
Oh, yeah. I think Woody Allen knows what he's doing. I think Woody Allen is making himself sort of this 18, 19-year-old who thinks they're very worldy, but is going to get reality checks along the way.
Well, I think surely that's the name of the title. And doesn't that play so nicely against her? I don't know. Dakota Fanning. Pull up her name? Say her name again. Dakota Fanning. He said it all the way through the film. I couldn't hear the film because he was just screaming Dakota Fanning at me.
My agent.
Or was it his dog?
That's how I get a work. But you know what I mean? When it first started, it felt like what did I write here? It felt like it was written by an 80-year-old New Yorker with the naivete of a 24-year-old writing his first screenplay in a Starbucks. I said, write what you want.
Did you deliberately say naivete?
Oh, naivete.
Is that to go with your pursuit performance depiction today?
Do you know what I mean? Like people visualize and write what they want in their first screenplay. Everything just falls into place. That's how they start. What the hell happened to my camera then? Did you see that?
Yeah.
Where did my chin go? You didn't like that comment a second ago.
They're watching.
What is going on with your camera? It is not.
I don't know. Mine's tripping out, and yours is fucking doing something. I don't know. Just let's see.
Language.
We can sort it out in the edit, whatever you called in post.
But anyway, when he comes off the screen, we haven't actually done.
Dakota Fanning is great.
Dakota Fanning has got a interview with a filmmaker in New York. He follows her.
She's a
reporter, journalist, whatever.
Yeah, starting out.
Yeah, and he thinks he's a culture vulture. He's very pretentious. He reads, but not just what the school want him to read.
He doesn't care what Beowulf does.
Yeah, with Gilbert or whatever. Oh, I haven't told you. It was Mister's birthday. It was Mister's birthday. He's got his own teddy called Gilbert. Yes,
is it a smaller fox?
He rapes him constantly. It's some sort of bush baby thing. I don't know what it is, but it's absolutely just shaking. So it just shakes with nerves.
You've been a bit flippant with the word rape there.
It does though. Mr. absolutely flings him around and says, "Fucking Gilbert." It's really funny.
Yeah.
He's done it every single
We've alienated a few people there.
Well, the rape came up, so the staunch Woody Allen support is already gone. Right. Anyway, Timothée Chalamet leaves because Dakota Fanning goes to has this interview with the filmmaker who's like, it's that Liev Schreiber guy from some Wes Anderson films. And that's a fantastic scene.
Or the X-Men trilogy for those.
Oh, who is he in X-Men?
He plays a guy called Sabretooth.
Oh, I recognize that one.
He's like Wolverine's counterpart, but the bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
They're brothers, supposedly.
Supposedly. Why don't you not believe it?
I don't know the comic book lore well enough, but they were in some films.
I think this is what people commonly refer to as we're entering a lull.
I thought Timothée Chalamet, despite being very pretentious and playing it so, it's got to be a little bit tongue-in-cheek, right? I was laughing. It was coarse, it was dry, it was sarcastic.
Have you seen Woody Allen's recent films? I don't know if it was tongue-in-cheek. It's the thing I don't really know if it was tongue-in-cheek.
Like, well, I was laughing at it, so
like that was my response. How similar is that character? That's like a younger version of Owen Wilson's character in Midnight in Paris. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, someone who else is very ready. Ready? What's the word I'm looking for?
Wordy.
That's it. But you know what I mean? It is just sort of that. Right, what do you want to say about this film?
I thought it had a good tempo. And I thought she was great. When she was on screen, it was enjoyable.
What's she called?
Dakota Fanning. And when I think the film has to be about her. I hope it's about her. I hope it follows her. And it's her relationship comparable to him. Why don't you keep looking up at somebody
I'm going
to
shut that window. Just give me 1 second.
Okay.
Let me ask another question. I'll start to talk about that final scene.
Okay. So for those... As a point of reference, it was like when Philip Seymour Hoffman comes in The Talented Mr. Ripley, in that this incredibly like twat of a character just is on screen, but they're played. It's just doubled down. It's just a performance of just no holds barred. They're not trying to make this guy nuance in any way. He's just straight up.
It looked like a younger version of Archie from Bauer.
Well, I said Philip Seymour Hoffman, actually. He was throwing out real huge vibes for me of that in The Talented Mr. Ripley.
Oh, that's way too much.
Yeah, but yes, he does look like, I'm Archie, the inventor. I know how things are done. I can make absolutely anything.
This is Miles Jump, isn't it?
It is. It's fun.
But
Take a box and some string and some yogurt pots. You've got a car.
That's why he got sacked as a mechanic. This is just
you didn't want to see his rocket.
I asked for a piston changing. All you've done is put Greek yogurt all over my engine. No, but it obviously was meant to be incredibly negative and bitchy, and just he thought it was better than everyone. Really said, well, not really sanctimonious is the right word, but just like you said, just a twat, an absolute twat of a character, and it did make Timothée Chalamet look a little bit more human.
But isn't that maybe that's the kind of angle that he's driving at? I don't know. I've not seen the rest of the film, but that all these characters are such extremes and such that then Dakota Fanning looks normal and seems and it enhances her, doesn't it? It raises her up.
Well, that was the point of it, of her character, the whole sort of corn-fed from where's she from? She's from Tucson, isn't she?
Arizona, did she say?
Yeah, and everyone else is like that New York cannibal, you know what I mean? Like you just want to cannibalize other people's success, and it's all about you and your sort of
well, after we have this scene with Liev Schreiber, right? So they're talking about family, and it's kind of quite normal, actually. And she mentioned she's from Arizona. We then get this thing of a little in a monologue of Timothée Chalamet saying how New York is, you know, the fast pace and all that, and exactly that, highlighting exactly what you were just saying.
I will be
fell in front of your screen.
I will be.
What is going on with you today?
I will be interested to see how the relationships develop, because the perv that is Woody Allen very much likes to have these intertwining sort of sexual characters. I mean,
Selena Gomez.
And so when he sort of pitched like the complete innocence of Dakota Fanning's character in the interview scene, with Liev Schreiber, like he was just so composed and knew himself, and was actually someone who was actually the man in the film, and all the other people came across as boys. And he talked about other people going to be moving into this film, and it's quite malleable. I'm quite interested to see where that goes. As long as
you liked that shot, didn't you?
I did. Yeah.
Good.
Yes, I did like this. I don't know how to really describe that shot. It's quite an inconsequential shot, but it just felt relatively innovative for Woody Allen at his geriatric age. That's all.
It's refocusing a lot, isn't it?
Yeah, maybe
looks like it's moving.
Position.
Thank
God you've touched with all the settings.
Just the brightness. No, the saturation.
I'm literally blue here, and you're yellow. It reminds me of you can have these for your PlayStation, and I used to play boxing. Yes, the nerdiest of all PlayStation games. And you could get a camera version of yourself, and I can only play in the conservatory. And no matter what I did, the lighting always had me as blue. So whenever I had my character made with my face, it was just some blue guy. So I just
had a hard childhood, didn't you?
How loud is Humphrey? Can you hear him?
I know. Humphrey, prove my point.
Which
room? How many rooms has that house got you in?
69. They were very specific on it having 69 rooms, the Burbs. The previous renters.
You're at Woody Allen's.
Right.
Anyway, just have to power through that, won't we? My house, the one that's got no insulation, no absolute soundproofing above the pub, is actually proving to be better. Anyway, let's talk about Point Break.
Start on Point Break.
I'm not. What's he talking? He's absolutely out of his mind. He's fucking balmy. Let's start without him. We'll just sit here, you and I, the audience.
Are we just going to edit that out?
Nope, we're leaving him. So we're talking about Point Break.
Obviously, going to edit that out of the audio.
I don't know. I think it works. Okay, Point Break. Funny, I watched Hot Fuzz quite recently. And it's and you mentioned
always on ITV2. That's why. ITV2 every other week.
No, I watched it. Not on that. I don't watch live television. I swear.
You finally caught up with everyone else then.
But I do not use iPlayer either. They're after me for not paying my TV license. Because I don't have one. And do not need one.
You're very much safe. They're not watching this.
They're banging on my door.
If you are watching this, BBC, you better pay the fucking subscription that you have to pay. It's not mental. You have to pay. You literally just have to pay the money. Insane. Anyway, so the next film and the final film is
I've mentioned it twice already. People were
Point Break. Point Break, Catherine Bigelow film. The executive producer was
James Cameron.
So what are the chances that she managed to get this film?
It's not who you know, it's who you biggle blow.
You want to be in black and white. Black and white's got to be in you.
Got to be in you.
And it's one of those where, obviously in Hot Fuzz, they say it's the best film ever. But I'm sure that was drenched in irony because this wasn't good at all from the start. Well, no, it had okay moments. It wasn't. It had okay moments.
I do love a film. I've said this before and I'll say it again. I do love a film that gets on with it. Largo Entertainment was the production house, and that Largo means slow, and they got straight on with that film. A little bit of a oxymoron there for those who know that. They know they're Italian.
I went on a rodent control course today, and
get that rat out of the kitchen.
Well, one of the first questions was they put up a picture of the biggest.
You are a filthy little rat.
So they mentioned I was from marketing, and I was full of a room with as you can imagine what pest controls are like. Do you know what I mean? Like
really hot, bodacious babes.
So they already thought
beach bod men.
I was some sort of Mensa person, right? And I said they had the picture of the largest rodent in the world, and they went, "Does anyone know what this is?" And I said,
"Capybara."
Exactly. And they went, "Oh, that's good." And then they had a.
They said that's good.
He
100%.
was well impressed. He was like, no one had ever said that to him before. Like he didn't know. Like he was actually asking. He's like, "Does anyone know this? I've asked this for 6 years. I still don't fucking know what it is." Anyway, then he said, the field mice or whatever. I failed the course.
Are they like agents who work for him?
Field mice or whatever. He said they are cachet eaters, something like that. It said
guns, cachet of guns.
It says, does anyone know what that means? And I went, well, cachet in French is hidden. So does it have something to do with the fact that they take their food and hide it, save it for later? And again, he was amazed. Then at a later point in the thing, someone went, there was like another language up, and someone went, ask the lad that knows French. Right? So I know French. The reason I know that and the reason I'm bringing it up now is because that's from a film. There's literally a film, French film I've been trying to get to watch called Cachet, the Michael Haneke film, which is the thriller from like 2006 or something. And it's amazing. So what I was trying to say is the film knowledge is what got me there. But I mean, I didn't correct.
I thought you were going to tell me you knew it about when you were on your PlayStation playing Hitman. You get a cachet of weapons, which is obviously
a lot of Hitman 3 at the moment. I bought myself it the other week.
Okay. Time in your hands, have you? Maybe you should spend it with your girlfriend, and then you can come and see me more.
So, Point Break.
Get rid of me, just. So I do like a film that gets on with it.
Yes.
And it certainly was high octane, I think was the word I settled on.
Full
on might be another one.
Gary Busey's in this film. We're not sure if
he
was hired.
Barmy and off of the wall is just, it's a bit mental, isn't it?
He's just absolutely insane. I tell you what, he's watchable though. And when he actually starts to be,
don't say act.
It's very much that sort of 90s office. You can hear the photocopier going. Everyone's like a city slicker. Do you know what I mean? That sort of vibe. And everyone's like trying to get on the new guy. They always think he's too green. You're like, what are you doing, hot shot? And that sort of shit.
Yeah.
And Gary Busey starts off as that. But he's like he's the mental one that no one would hang out with. Do you know what I mean? Like all the other one would be like a collegiate of like twat.
If we were in that office, we would idolize him. We would want to be on every case. We would
just film him.
Yes.
But he starts to get excited. Basically, there's a bunch of bank robberies that happen over the summer, and Gary Busey sort of has actually fantastic bit of investigation skills. Works out their surfers. It was very good.
Yeah, but I mean, I think we should avoid. We should call him by his film name of Angelo rather than Gary Busey himself.
Sorry,
did he think it was like a documentary?
Sorry,
it was actually like
it's the
work experience with the FBI.
Like it's the first.
I sold it, guys.
Fire. Like it's the first time we've never used a character name. We've never ever used a fucking character name.
Yeah, but he's called Angelo.
Sorry, I was about to say in 2 years of the show. Just because the show has been going for 2 years, we've only put like 4 episodes. In all of the 6 years of this year, that voice again. Have you done the voice yet?
I'm faint from work a couple of times, but nowhere near as much as you.
Keanu Reeves is in this film. Now, Keanu Reeves...
Which you think... I'm just going to pull you up on this. You don't think he's...
a good actor at all, correct?
No, a good guy.
What?
You didn't like him?
He's no Woody Allen, but I'm sure he's got a few skeletons, but he's not that bad.
I like him. I think he's fun. He's good. He's fine.
So my thing with I've seen him be good in one film. He was in My Private Idaho. It's very
Matrix.
good.
He's pretty good.
But that Keanu, we're on to the action. Can you just put that hands down, please?
That's how Dredd moved. That guy in Dredd.
I forgot we watched Dredd.
Fucking shocker.
But anyway, that's a really off-kilter film, My Own Private Idaho.
What, Dredd? Yeah. Oh, sorry.
But do you not feel like when he's acting, he's portraying the person that Christian Bale was trying to portray in American Psycho?
It is a bit like that.
So
I didn't get vibes of that.
It's awful.
Yeah.
It's just crap.
I liked it.
Screaming.
Different strokes for different folks.
Stroke I can't even finish an episode with that. Right. What happens in this film? I tell you what's quite fun.
Basically, Keanu Reeves goes undercover and has to learn to surf to discover so that he can infiltrate the surfing community, because Gary Busey, aka Angelo, or Angelo, aka Gary Busey, has deduced
Angelo Busey.
have deduced that the surfers are the robbers are surfers. I'll give the 2 pieces of evidence he uses. One, with a bit of mud that has some sand in it and some surfer wax. And 2, a black and white photograph of a zoomed in arse from the bank that apparently clearly shows a tan line.
Yeah, the camera that is set up on
Crock
Zoom
of
mode.
shit.
No, I mean, it also has that it's the summer.
Was Woody Allen the bank manager?
What? Because the camera was only pointing at the groins.
Or it was a bank populated by midgets normally.
What I was going to say is the bank robbery itself. They're all wearing presidents' masks like Nixon and Reagan and stuff, and that was quite funny.
Name another.
And didn't one of them have Jimmy Carter on? And wasn't the first Bush they've won? W.H. Bush.
Not the new boy.
Is he new?
Newer.
And so what we said about that was it felt alive. That bank robbery felt really sort of kinetic and visceral, and we felt.
And Gary Busey came back on the screen.
It was a bit of a precursor for. It's a bit of a he was alive. Oh my goodness! It's a bit of a precursor. Yeah, absolutely wired for sound. Quite literally saw the amphetamines around his nose. I think in one scene. Did we actually get through his Wikipedia page? I was dying to get through it because I'm sure he's got some bizarre stories.
I wanted to
comments on this film
about Gary Busey. Yeah, we should watch in next week's episode, 2005 Gingerbread. It looks like some sort of horror slasher with Gary Busey in it.
I'm there for that. In 1997, Busey underwent successful surgery. Successful? Oh, to me, a cancerous prom-sized tune. It's not really an area for comedy, that is it? Oh. The growth was found after Busey began suffering from nosebleeds. I think you also get nosebleeds when you absolutely destroy the inner of your nostril with cocaine, Gary Busey. I think both of them are...
Is he like one of those people? You know, some people live their lives as single names. Cher, Madonna, Adele. Gary Busey always is Gary Busey.
During the filming of the second season of Celebrity Rehab... yes, he went on that. Oh, no, this is just talking about his mental illness. Right, let's not go down that at all. Oh, Busey has a pet parakeet called Pee-wee. love
That's where I know him from.
Did you sell him a parakeet?
Why is that's annoying. Thingy's not in it. We'll have to go into his film list.
Yeah, okay. Right. This is very much hurtling to a stop now.
Gingerbread Man, look at it. You can't. Nobody can. 2005 horror comedy. A witch cooks up trouble when she revives her dead serial killer son as a giant psychopathic gingerbread man intent on killing the girl who had him executed.
I like it. That sounds good. So
I think Gary Busey plays the gingerbread man.
I'm starting to see, Dan. I'm starting to see why we edited this podcast.
Yeah.
Right. Dan, would you watch...
He is the gingerbread man. We're watching it.
Obviously the gingerbread. Sorry, how did you read that and not work out he was going to be the fucking gingerbread man? Of course he is.
Well, he might have been a... Now, what was he called?
This is not going to be worth the payoff.
No, it is. You'll like it.
Oh, in Shrek?
No.
The big guy, Mumbo, whatever he's called. Mumbo.
Be good. No, I was talking about one of the first films we watched, which was called Dead Con, and Thingy Bob was in it.
Yeah, I almost mentioned his name earlier, but I couldn't remember it. I was mentioning we should have interviews on this show, and I couldn't remember his name.
Yeah. Anyway, him.
Dominic Burgess.
Burgess. He could be a person like that. Steals the show from the sidelines.
There's no way if there's a straight to DVD slasher film from the mid-noughties and Gary Busey in it that he's not the fucking lead. What are you talking about? Like he's going to sit in the background and talk quietly. What? Talk quietly? Can you speak up, Gary, please? Oh. How did I get a job directing? Okay, Dan, would you watch that film? Not like Gingerbread Man, I'm talking about Point Break. Would you watch Point Break?
Yes.
Do you reckon it's one of those films where you get halfway through it? I keep touching my temples. And I'm like fucking Sherlock or some shit. I need to stop doing that. Mind powers. And jeez, Gromit. You know, halfway through this film, you're going to get why it's called Point Break. You're like, oh, that's why it's called Point Break. Do you know what I mean?
Or they say the name of the film, like Family Guy.
No, it's stop doing Family Guy jokes. You know.
What?
We're gonna get sued. We're gonna get sued. The voice is our version of like a fucking demented Stewie.
What do you mean? I tell you, it's nothing to do with Stewie.
Okay, Dan. Well, that was that.
I would watch out of the three. I'm most excited to watch A Rainy Day in New York.
What's the shortest?
1917.
There's no way is that going to be the shortest. Well, we have to decide.
Take my word for it.
So let's not watch 1917 because you've watched it, and now we don't want to watch it. Not asked. Film podcast. Rainy Day.
You've seen Moonlight, haven't you?
Should we not watch Point Break? It's a classic, and we both haven't seen it. We need to watch that film.
Shall we watch both?
I'm not watching both.
Okay, let's watch Rainy Day.
We can watch both.
Point Break. No, let's watch Point. Okay. Rainy Day in New York is going to have more things to talk about.
It's going to be a classic, Point Break, and we need to see.
We shouldn't leave this argument to off air. Yeah, we'll watch Point Break.
Yes, very much like we left me leaving the room for 90 seconds off air. I'm glad that now you've become a stickler for the logistics and the admin.
Sandra, I'm moving your schedule to Wednesday.
Before we go,
I'm not even typing anything. There's no keyboard here.
I want to end on.
I'm on my own in my flat.
I want to end on a high, Dan. I want to end on a high.
Yeah.
James Bond's coming out relatively
soon. It is. No Time to Die.
What do you think? Are you excited about it?
I am. Long overdue. Do you hold up to the criticism that delaying it destroyed cinema last year?
Nah.
Cool. Neither do I.
A lot of people did. Wes Anderson's film was going to come out 18 months ago.
Ooh. On that, rewatched Fantastic Mr. Fox.
Oh.
Better than I give it credit for.
As regular listeners will know, that's my favourite film.
Mm-hmm.
Better than you thought.
Not mine.
Why? What did you... That'd be weird.
I think I hated it because you loved it. But it was all right.
It's quite a horrible thing.
Yeah. I hate The Revenant.
Give him a few slams. A few light slams.
Are your kids well behaved? Or do they need like a few light slams? I'm sorry, the provision has been filled.
Dan's favorite film. This is Doubtfire. Right.
And Whaler, get back in your cell. Hello.
I haven't seen it since I was like 12. I can't remember anything about it apart from the quick change bit.
Going for the kill. Hello. Unified Outfire here. I'm a wee bop granny who can hip hop, bebop, bop till they drop, and yo like a wee cup of cocoa.
That sounds just like Pat Nevin. You wonder who Pat Nevin is, but he's a footballer. He's played for Chelsea and Everton. Right.
Speaks Dan, like that.
Right, that is just like, it's like
I shoot the ghouls. I've got Stewie.
You have not. Okay, Dan, we'll be back next week. That was a fucking shambles.
I think it was tale of two halves. I think your end was a little bit ropey. Anyway, see you all next week.
See you later. Bye-bye.